craziest sports upsets in 2017. Assuming your team isn't on the losing end of them, upsets are some of the best parts of sports. And in 2017, we saw some great ones. Here are the 11 best, based on rankings, margins of victory, shock value and season implications moving forward. Going into the final 2 weeks of the regular season, the Bears only have 4 wins, although that's actually better than this time last year. In stunning fashion, one of them came in October against the Panthers, who are currently tied for first in the NFC South. In this surprising win from Chicago, the Bears' defense did all the heavy lifting. It kept Cam Newton and his team from finding the end zone while rookie safety Eddie Jackson was responsible for all of Chicago's touchdowns. In the first half, Jackson returned a fumble for an incredible 75-yard touchdown, and then came up with a 76-yard pick-six. Just crazy. He was the first player in NFL history to have 2 defensive touchdowns of 75 yards or more in a game. Weeks later, it's still hard to comprehend how this happened. Going into this Week 10 game, if Iowa was going to win, it seemed like it would come from a game-deciding field goal or Hail Mary, but no one could have predicted what happened. The Buckeyes walked away with a 31-point loss on their resume. For Ohio State, this failure is a glaring reason why the team isn't in the college football playoff. This Week 7 upset was bonkers. It was Clemson's biggest upset loss in the last 40 seasons. But the Tigers were able to recover from it, and they're still the #1 team going into the playoff. Still, it's gotta feel pretty incredible for the Orange to know it handed the defending national champions their only loss of the season, so far. The Indians were fun to watch this season. They amassed an incredible 22-game win streak and won 33 of their last 37 regular season games. There was no way they were going to lose in the first round of the postseason, right? But as my colleague Ted Berg pointed out afterward, the best team doesn't always win, even if it has a 2-0 series lead. The Indians had a better team than the Yankees in the regular season. The Indians had a better team than the Yankees entering the postseason. The Indians have a better team than the Yankees right now. But they're going home and the Yankees are going to Houston because the Yankees so happened to take 3 out of these particular 5 games. There is no question that Usain Bolt is the GOAT, but the fastest man in the world, he still holds the world record in the 100 meters from 2009, tragically wasn't so for his last individual race at the World Championships August. In the 10-second race, Bolt couldn't recover from a slow start, and American Justin Gatlin thrived at the end to win the title. Fellow American Christian Coleman finished second, while the Jamaican star was third. Bolt losing anything was once seemingly impossible, but no one thought he'd come up short in his last time out for his signature event. Gatlin bowed to Bolt after beating him. App photo, Martin Meissner. Typically, the Blackhawks can never be overlooked in the Stanley Cup playoffs, and as the Western Conference and Central Division champs, most people assumed that would be true in 2017. But more impressive than the Preds eliminating Chicago was the manner in which they did it. They not only swept the Blackhawks in the first round of the playoffs, but they also limited Chicago to just 3 goals in 4 games. Another crazy stat: Nashville goalie Pekka Rinne picked up 2 assists in the second game, more than any Blackhawk throughout the whole series. The Preds went on to the Stanley Cup Finals, ultimately falling to the Pittsburgh Penguins. Number 2 seed Duke could have cruised to the Elite Eight, if not the Final Four, in its East Region bracket, especially after number 1 seed Villanova lost the day before the Blue Devils did. But Frank Martin and his South Carolina Gamecocks powered through and knocked them out of the tournament in the second round. College hoops fans outside of Durham loved every second of it. South Carolina made it to the Final Four, eventually losing to Gonzaga. Truly, no one thought this was possible, except maybe UConn coach Gino Auriemma. If any team in any sport seemed guaranteed to win, it was UConn's women's basketball team. But it was the Final Four. Mississippi State was dying for redemption from the previous year's 98-38 loss to the Huskies, and they were not going to be stopped, Not even by a team on an 111-game win streak. Mississippi State jumped out to a 16-point lead in the second quarter, forcing UConn to earn every single basket. This eventual overtime thriller was beyond incredible, with casual basketball fans tuning in for the final minutes because this upset was wild and unexpected. And Morgan Williams spectacularly became the night's hero when she drilled the game-winning shot. Goosebumps. But Mississippi State couldn't hold on to the magic, and lost to South Carolina in the finals. This incredible 2017 moment is an upset not because of Garcia's talent level but because for so long, he was the best player who had never won a major. As my colleague and golf aficionado Luke Curdanine pointed out, his winless drought had gone on for so long, people started thinking he'd never win one. Garcia finished the third round tied for first with Justin Rose, but on the final day, Rose pulled ahead as Garcia faltered multiple times. He looked like he was going to blow it. The whole tournament came down to a sudden death playoff between these two, and amazingly, Garcia birdied for the win. This is another one that was an upset because of its shock value. 45-year-old Kenseth wasn't having the best season. Joe Gibbs Racing wasn't bringing him back for 2018, and he was being pushed out of the sport after 20 years and a championship. This was the penultimate race of what turned out to be his last season, and, still winless through 34 races, Kenseth had already been eliminated from the playoffs. But he stunned the NASCAR world with this win, and the moments after it were some of the season's most memorable. Despite some on-court struggles going into the 2017 season, the Serbian tennis star entered the first Grand Slam of the year, having won 5 of the previous 6 Australian Opens. Melbourne is where he wins big and often. But in the second round of the tournament, Uzbekistan's Denis Istomin was simply better and stronger, and he outplayed Djokovic, who hadn't lost a second-round Grand Slam match since Wimbledon in 2008, for a stunning 7-6, 8, 5-7, 2-6, 7-6, 5, 6-4 win. Via USA Today Sports, him playing this well, I mean, it's amazing, Djokovic said. He played obviously above his level. You got to give him credit for that. Many things came together for him today. He's a well-deserved winner. In the game of tennis, one guy beats another guy, Djokovic added. I take my bags and I go home. More, Gary Payton tells epic story of the time Michael Jordan shut down his trash-talking Ryan Russell who opened up on his abrupt exit from ESPN radio. Mixed up LeBron asked around to find candy for his daughter during a Cavs game. Kyrie Irving's latest take, he doesn't necessarily think of Christmas as a holiday. NFL Week 16 picks against the spread, will the Seahawks spoil Ezekiel Elliott's return?